Hello, everyone. Welcome to our first of we don't know how many yet live question and answer sessions that we're doing. And basically, we're doing this because obviously a lot has changed in the last 6 weeks or so, just in how we're doing business and how people are doing their business and being stuck at home. And we just thought this would be a good avenue to for those that have questions and we don't have the ability to talk to people at trade shows or any of the other things that we normally would. And so we just thought we would just try kind of a new thing. So let me introduce myself. I'm Wayne Schultz with Ettore. I'm Executive Vice President of Sales and Marketing, actually, and other things as well. And I've been here since 2005. I am not part of the Ettore family personally, I mean directly. Obviously, I am a collective family of the company, but I know most things that are happening. If you try to stump me on something Ettore said in 1939, I'm probably not going to be able to answer that. But I do know most of the family history. So with that, we just to kind of start out, we have a question here from a Craig Hansel, and if I mispronounced that, I'm sorry. So the first question basically was the claim is that Ettore Stacconi also went by the name of Hector. Do you all know if that is the truth, is the question. And the answer to that is not true at all. When you get into translations of Italian to English, Hector kind of comes up there. That's been something that's been floated around forever. But Ettore never went by anything other than Ettore. And there's some other stories regarding the Stacconi name and some of the other things, but Hector was not one of them. So that is not true at all. So with that, I will kind of open it up. Okay, so a question from Green Window Cleaning. Sorry about that. Again, this is our first attempt, so there's probably going to be some stumbling here, but we can work through it. So basically the question, squeegee rubber, can it be reused? Is it possible to send it back to have it processed ourselves back in reusable edge? And would that make meant to be wasted? So the answer to your question directly in there, can it be reused? Yes, it can. Would it be feasible or cost effective to? The answer really is no. We could, if you sent it back to us, re-slice it and re-edge it, but that would require labor hours for one person to do one piece of rubber. And, the labor hour to do that, it would probably end up cost $35 or whatever to have a piece of rubber re-initialized, or you could just buy another one for $1.70. So choice is yours, but we do not offer a recycling program just because the cost to do the labor, we do that all by hand. Some of you may or may not know that, but and that's the cost of that would be really high. Also, on Instagram, we are running live as well, and I want to introduce. He's not there yet. Never mind. Well, we're going to have a guest, Gabriel Gutierrez of Spotless Window Cleaning in Tucson, Arizona, but he's not here yet. So when he gets here, I will work with that. The next question we have here is, how do you clean a microswipe duster? So the duster itself, it's on a handle on a wire, basically, with microfiber wrapped around it. And cleaning that, the easiest way literally is just in, water. You can do it in a bucket, or you can just rinse it out with a hose or in the sink. And then, generally we do, I don't have one in front of me, but you kind of go like this to spread it around and make sure you don't have anything nearby because it'll get wet. But that'll basically clean it, let it hang dry, and then you're good to go. The microfiber actually just kind of electrostatically removes the stuff with the water, and then it's good to go again. So that's how you clean it. So let me open it up. Is there anybody out there who has some questions that I can answer? If not, I will, kind of go through. I'm sure we have some other questions we've received, or I could just talk about some things that are going on. That's up to you guys. Sorry, we're having some technical. Here we go. I can't read who it is, but somebody just threw in here, what is the difference in squeegee blades between all-purpose and original squeegees? So the answer to that, the original squeegee basically is, we have different names for them, but that's basically it's an aluminum channel and an aluminum handle, and that uses what we call our famous Ettore rubber. That it's hand inspected, absolutely flawless. Will give you streak-free results. What we're known for. That basically is the rubber that's in there, and the rubber in the all-purpose product, because it is not replaceable. Although you could, if you have the right tools, it's crimped on as opposed to put in with clips. It's not meant to be replaced. So it's basically made with, it's rubber, but it's infused with silicone. So the edge holds longer than the traditional rubber. But if you've ever used silicone on window, it can squeak more because there's a consistency that's part of it. So it's not the same rubber that you would find on our professional products directly, although the performance of it with the edge, it's still hand inspected, it's still all the other things, but the all-purpose squeegee is meant to not be replaced. Basically, it's if you want another one, you basically toss it when it's done and then get another squeegee, and the cost is low enough where that can be done. So that was that one. Okay, so here's another question. Will the Ettore extension pole for the ceiling fan duster, specifically Fana with a pole, fit the Ettore microfiber window washer? And the answer to that, actually, sorry to say, is no, it won't. Although the microfiber window washer does have an Acme thread in it, the pole that's used on the Fana duster has it's basically got I don't know what you call it, a piece at the end that expands that won't fit inside the handle of the microfiber duster itself, and so that won't. But if you have any other kind of pole that has just the Acme thread and the pole that will fit inside, it will fit any of them. That's part of it. That particular pole just has a flange and it won't fit in there. So that's there. And then Clear Advantage window. What's the best storage condition for the rubber? That's actually a good question. You want to keep it away from sunlight as much as possible. So typically inside of a drawer or something that isn't like in a windowsill or something like that. You don't have to keep it wet. I mean, it is rubber. Rubber cracks over time. So, it's basically a cool, dry place is what we would recommend. That's the best place to keep the rubber. A lot of people keep it in a drawer, but again, over time, rubber does crack. And so, we see people with, I have an Ettore squeegee from 1960, whatever, and the squeegee's really good, but the rubber's all deteriorated. Well, that's what happens. So that's there. So I'm being told that Gabriel has now joined us. And so if you're on Instagram, he'll be on there as well. And so I'm not sure if he's going to ask me questions or he'll respond to them. So I guess we'll find out here just in a second. So I'm just trying to see what poles fit into the floor squeegees. Floor squeegees, well, we have two different types. One of them is a friction fit. Let me just answer that while we're waiting for connections to occur. Floor squeegee, the traditional floor squeegees that are made out of steel, they have a tapered thread. So we either have a 1-inch or 1 16th inch handle. Either one of those will work on either of the floor squeegees. They friction fit in there, and then typically there's a screw that holds it in place so it doesn't come out, although a lot of times it won't anyway. It's just friction fit in there. And then our what we call wipe and dry, which are dual foam squeegees, actually have an Acme thread thing on there, so any Acme thread pole would work on that one as well. So those are the two different types. Hey Gabriel, how you doing?
Hey, I'm doing well. How about you guys?
Doing well. Just kind of going through some questions we got previously answered. For those of you on Facebook Live, sorry you can't see the interaction, but we're just kind of dialoguing. So did you have any questions or things you wanted to start with? Sure.
So specifically, I'm a huge fan of the Ettore backflip.
Okay.
And the Ease Ledger. Those I use pretty much every day. The Ease Ledger is my main squeegee handle that I use even when I'm fanning. I really like it a lot. And whenever I'm doing polling for commercial work, I always use the backflip.
Okay.
So the question I have is: have there been any thought to designing a similar handle but with metal. And the reason is because the problem I always have with them is cracking. And so I've gotten around with it is right away, especially with the Ledgies, I duct tape it. I duct tape the handle even before it's cracked.
Okay.
And then I'll put that rubber, for the handle back over the duct tape. Okay. And that helps it last for a long time. But it'll still get little cracks in there. And then even with I just bought one of the new backflips, and I noticed that I'm already starting to see cracks on that one as well. Now, I will say, with the backflip, I use that a lot, and I am really rough on it because I do like control, and I do put a lot of pressure on it. Okay, but so I've now duct taped my handle as well. Okay. So has there been any thought to a metal design of some sort? So
you asked two different questions. Let me go to the first one. So the Ledgie, no, that's fine. I just want to make sure we're all on the same thing. So those of you that didn't hear the question, he's saying that he uses the Ledgies product, basically, which is a plastic extended, it's not handle, basically, but the flange goes out so you can get around ledges and things without getting in the way. And then the other one was the backflip, both of which are predominantly plastic. And the question is, are we going to make them in metal, or have we thought about making them in metal? The Ledgies, we could. We haven't at this point just because... there's lots of reasons. I don't need to get into manufacturing stuff or whatever, but the plastic part of it just made it the molding pretty easy. And we, in the early stages of design, we had to change a lot of different things a lot, and worked with that. So the Ledgies product we actually could do, and I can definitely look into that and work with it. The backflip, it's a little hard to do because of the inner. And I know when you're using it, it appears to you like there's two parts, but there's really like six that'll have to fit together that work. And also you have to have, the pole has to fit both pieces. And if on the new one, we actually made it so you can have the click lock version on both pieces and working well. That was a little bit of design. So all that to say, making that out of metal would be a challenge for a lot of reasons. It would be a challenge. Not necessarily weight-wise, but just making all those pieces fit where they wouldn't wobble and rattle and cause all kinds of problems. But if I can ask, what you're saying it's cracking? Where is it cracking? Is it like just from dropping it, or what's the?
No, it's cracking at the base. So I was really impressed with the new design, how the most of the where the pole and the tip enters in is now the thicker base. So right. I was really happy to see that adjustment in the design. But what I'm seeing is just right at the bottom, the very bottom where it's touching. I think it's just the pressure of the tip pushing into the center of the handle, which is expanding it. Okay. And I think with the amount of pressure that I'm putting it, and like I say, I use it probably more than the average window cleaner.
Yeah, but I mean they're designed to be used that way, so that shouldn't be a problem. So it's cracking in where the pole goes in. That's where it's cracking. Correct. Yeah, correct. I mean we can talk. We don't necessarily have to go too deep. I would love to work with you and find out like what's causing that, to be able to figure it out, because it could actually just be a material issue. Yeah.
Yeah, I can see pictures, and I'll show you how I kind of got around it. Okay. It's not enough that's gonna. I love the product, so I'm still gonna buy it for sure. And I've made adaptations, but if there's anything that we can improve on it, I'd love to help you. Okay. With my observations.
No, that's the kind of I don't know if many of you know this, but the foundation of this company was Ettore Stacconi was a migrant from Italy that only knew how to wash windows. Hated the window cleaning tools that were available at the time, and kept going back to the manufacturers, and they would basically go, "You don't know what you're doing," blah blah blah. Basically, like you're saying now, and and the responses were, "Yeah, well, you're using it wrong. It works fine. That's part of the deal," and ended up inventing the squeegee that we know today. Basically, the actual squeegee. That's how we were founded, and it's the same family running the company, and so. We love to hear feedback from you guys, because you're the ones and you're using our tools exactly how they were intended to be used. And if we can improve that, I would love to hear it. And we, as you know, that's our motto: is we don't necessarily come out with a new handle every year that just has a different color. We want to make sure the tools are working, and we made some improvements on backflip, like you described, because of feedback. So if we can do that better, I'd love to hear what we can do. So that would be great.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
No problem. No problem at all. So, any other questions coming through here? Okay, so far. So Jacob Williams, I'll throw you a shout out there. Ettore for life. Well, we appreciate that. Thank you for your loyalty. That's a great thing. Okay. Oh, okay. So yeah. So again, this, as I mentioned earlier in the beginning of this, we're doing this. It's kind of a new channel, I guess. No pun intended. Not that it's a channel, but a way to communicate. And we've certainly appreciated, some of the questions that have come through and working with this. And as I mentioned to Gabe, that we love feedback from people that use our products out there. Good or bad. Bad isn't necessarily bad feedback because it makes us be better, and we certainly love that opportunity to do that. So we would like to do this more frequently. And if you have any questions, go ahead and leave the comments. Shoot us a message on either one of these channels. Those are monitored regularly, and we will definitely keep that going. And then we'll find ways to maybe make this bigger. I know we're going to partner with some other people as well in the future and move forward with possibly making this be something that'll benefit everybody. So thanks for your time. That was 15 minutes or so, but if you have any other questions, go ahead and fire them off to the different social media channels that you're on, and then we'll definitely take it from there and get back to you and respond publicly as you've stated the questions publicly. So thanks for your time, guys.